How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Blue Shifting, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. I had a brain fart there for a second. I knew it was Higurashi, but I wanted to say Watanagashi, and I was like, wait, no, that's not the game's name. It's not Watanagashi When They Cry, although Watanagashi makes me want to cry because of what happens afterwards, but we're getting out of ourselves. How's it going? So, last time we had the great battle in the dessert aisle with the whole dessert stuff and the crazy otaku kids and everything. It was interesting is the word I would probably choose. It was shocking, but it was kind of fun at the same time seeing the victory that was pulled out at the end with Keiichi and his friends. So yeah, that was really nice. And now we're going on a date with Shion, I think. Maybe I was wrong, and maybe it'll be a really quick thing, and we'll just be at the end of the chapter. And if so, it is what it is. But I anticipate that we have more to explore, that there's more interesting stuff to happen today. So yeah, I'm excited to see how it pans out. I'm hoping it won't be too snubbed, but I guess we'll just find out. Although ultimately, it should be a good time, and we're also, we're kind of building up towards Watanagashi. The Shion Mion type stuff going on is really interesting, but I have a feeling we're not going to have much more of it because it's getting close, and I get the feeling we're going to have a kind of break point where Keiichi's going to kind of have to. He's going to try and make up for the hurt that he accidentally gave to Mion, and I think that that's going to be kind of like one of the last nails in the coffin, so to speak, before we hit Watanagashi itself. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, I don't know if there's much else to say other than let's jump right in and get started. All right. When we left, the sky had already become draped in a veil of darkness.
なんだか暗くなってきちゃいましたね。もっと早めに終わらせてもらえる約束だったのに。
Shion seemed upset that there wasn't much time left.
でもいいかな。ちょっとでもこうしてのんびりお話できる時間が取れたから。
Saying that, Shion set out for a tree-lined boulevard behind the station. The front of the station was slowly becoming crowded with businessmen heading home.
さて、自己紹介からしようかな。
So, first of all, why? Second of all, I thought we were still going shopping, right? All right, I don't know. Let's see.
初対面はいきなりお姉と間違えられるという衝撃的な出会いだけで、互いに挨拶もしてないですからね。
Sure, okay. I could only smile and laugh wryly.
私、園崎シオンと申します。お姉と似てるのは外見だけなんですよ。お姉は大雑把で暑苦しい人なんだけど、私は几帳面だけど涼しい人なんです。
I mean, it's so weird because I keep thinking what would in this it's oh, this is kind of fun, really interesting, but then I try to imagine what if you knew somebody in real life, you were close to them in real life, and they started doing this whole thing where they would pretend to be a different person so they could have a different personality with you. How would you actually handle that in real life? I'm not sure what I would do, because there'd be a long level of is this okay? Is this going to be bad for us, for you? What does this mean? I would be really confused and not sure what I could do, what I could or should do about it. It's such an interesting problem. I remember what Rena and I have been talking about earlier. I said that they looked the same, but their personalities were different, while Rena said they were both the same. I don't know what tipped her off, but Rena figured out that Shion was Mion. Although, related to that, she said that I'd hurt Mion. Rena had given only one hint. That was, why is Mion pretending to be Shion?
シオンは俺のこと、ミオンからなんて聞いてるんだ？
お姉はケイちゃんのことお気に入りみたいですから、饒舌にいろいろと喋ってくれますよ。部活の話とか、やられたとかやり返したとか、そんな男の子みたいな話ばかりです。
Yeah, it's kind of the feeling I had too. Even in the first game, I kind of thought that there was a kind of thing that Mion had. I don't know if I really would have described it as interest. It was really pushing the Rena side of the potential romance side of it, but I always thought Mion was also playing that field. So it makes sense that there would be that kind of connection too.
本当に仲がいいんですね。
Boyish kind of stories, huh? Come to think of it, I think there was something Shion told me before. Kei-chan, you don't think of my sister as a girl, do you? Was that what happened to Mion? Mion herself said that she wished she'd been born a boy and that being a girl didn't suit her. She said a lot of things to that effect, didn't she?
ケイちゃん、さっきからなんだか楽しくなさそうですけど。
That's interesting, though. So, like, let's actually look at that real fast. Mion herself said she wished she'd been born a boy and that being a girl didn't suit her. I don't know. Because there's definitely, like, gender dysphoria, but I'm not sure that's what's actually happening. I feel like it's more that she's tomboyish and that she's kind of reminds me of me in that sense, where for me, like, there's not like a sexuality type of issue going on there, but there always has been this odd part where for me, I've always gotten along easier with girls than guys. It's harder for me to connect and build friendships with guys, and I don't know why. At the same time, it's not like there's something special, some secret sauce or whatever. I just think my mannerisms might be more, I don't know, in tune with things like emotions. I tend to see like the more emotional side of people. I tend to relate more to that. I don't get too caught up in things. I've never been super, like, I don't know, like the typical guy activities have never been that, like, all that interesting to me. But it's not like I also was running around just wanting to do girl stuff. It was just that it felt like a lot of times I fit more in with girls than with guys. And so that's the expression that I think Mion and I, personal level, have that in common. Where it's not like, I don't think she sees herself as a boy or wishes she was a boy. I think she was, or feels like she's a boy inside a girl's body. It's none of that, because it doesn't seem like that, and that's not what I experience. If I'm comparing it to my experience, it's just more of that. There's just that natural connection. There's and it, like, it's nice and it feels normal and it's great, but then on some level, there's still that natural part of her that wants to be seen as a girl, wants to be treated as a girl. And in her eyes, she's kind of like, wow, this is the first guy I feel like I've really connected with in a real way for a long time. And he just doesn't even remotely see me that way. And while she kind of probably accepted that initially, as she's gotten to know him better, she started to feel a bit more like frustrated by that, because her feelings are growing and our feelings for her didn't. And then she inadvertently shot herself in the foot, because she got embarrassed when she got discovered at the restaurant, and so she invented Shion as a character persona. But because of that, she kind of adopted a different personality to match the character that she was trying to depict, because it was supposed to be different from Mion. And not only did Keiichi like respond to that, he seems to really like the more girly version of her. And so now she's trapped in this lie, because if she were to suddenly drop the act, he'd be like, what? How would he respond? Wouldn't he just go back to treating her like normal? And she's like, no, I kind of want to be seen like this, even though it's not my like default state, because it's a part of her life that she feels probably gets neglected.
いや、そんなことないよ。
隠し事が下手なくせに嘘つこうとするんですよね。
Unfortunately.
だから憎めないんですけど。
Saying that, she lightly chopped my forehead. Even though Shion was enjoying herself, I was still trying to figure out how I'd hurt Mion. I was having a hard time figuring out the riddle Ren had left me with.
ほら、あれ、綺麗だと思いません？男の子でも綺麗に感じます？
へえ、綺麗だな。
Shion was having fun window shopping, dragging me by all sorts of stores I would normally never enter. It wasn't like she was begging me to buy her anything. I wasn't getting bored either. It was just something to talk about as we walked around. In an easygoing way, we browsed through numerous stores. We discussed all sorts of topics I knew nothing about, but I didn't lose interest. I had a feeling she was good at conversation.
ケイちゃんってこういうの初めてですか？
Probably. Although window shopping is fun in its own right.
ああ、初めてだよ。
Want to hear the nerdiest thing in the world? One of my favorite places to window shop is a bookstore. It's fun just looking at like books, because there's tons of stories that like I've never encountered before. And what's fun about window shopping bookstores is that sometimes something will catch your eye that you might never have been introduced before. No one you know's read it, or it might be a genre you haven't dabbled much into, and then you'll just suddenly get that urge to be like, you know what, I want to give this a try. And you just go for it. You can do this in a library as well, but libraries always have a different atmosphere. A bookstore, it feels more like crisp and like you're often seeing newer things and things that are ironically harder to find, because libraries tend to stock up on books that are requested. And so that means that there are going to be like niche topics or niche articles and books and stories that might not make it to a library. Yeah, I know. Libraries are good. Libraries are important. Bookstores are good. Bookstores are important. In a highly more digital like time and age, like I hope you make time for books because there's something kind of nice about just the physical side of it all too.
こんな小物のお店なんか、こうして連れてきてもらわなかったら一生入らなかったな。
そういうのじゃなくて、こういう感じの。
What? Like with a girl? Like what? I leapt back when Shion suddenly linked her arm with mine. Aww.
そんなに驚かなくてもいいじゃないですか。女の子と腕を組むくらい、そんなに恥ずかしいことなんですか？
It is though. Shion's expression was a little miffed but suggestive at the same time.
別に恥ずかしくなんかねえよ。腕が欲しけりゃ、1本でも2本でもくれてやるよ。
If you want some arms, I can spare one or two. That's hilarious.
ほら。
There we go. Now that's a face we recognize.
ケイちゃんって本当に退屈しない人ですね。お姉のお気に入りってのもよくわかります。
いらねえなら引っ込めるぞ、腕。
そんな喜んで拝借いたしますわ。
Laughing in good spirits, Shion locked arms with mine. My heart skipped a beat. Yeah, mine would too.
反応を楽しみたいんで意地悪に質問しますけど、ケイちゃん、女の子と腕組んだことあります？林間学校のキャンプファイヤーでってのはなしでです。
Around a bonfire at a field trip doesn't count. Is that a common thing maybe? Like a school trip to the bonfire and you have to link arms? Maybe like singing a song or something together? Yeah, because that wouldn't count. But it's like it's odd because like it's never something I've experienced going to bonfires or field trips. That little devil. She was asking the question knowing full well what the answer would be.
林間学校を封じられると辛いな。
そうだと思いました。
そのいたずらっぽい笑い方、本当にミオンと同じだな。お前、本当にシオンなんだろうな。ミオンがシオンだって嘘をついてるんじゃないのか？
お姉がシオンのふりをしてるかもしれないって思ってます？
さっきまでは双子だと思ってたが、悪ふざけの仕方がミオンとそっくりすぎるからな。
口ではそんなこと言ってますけど、ケイちゃんはちゃんと私とお姉を区別してますよ。
Why? Because of the hair?
区別ってなんだよ。
お姉がこうやって腕を取ってきたら、ケイちゃんドキドキしますか？
Say yes. Say yes.
する。関節技でもかけられるんじゃないかと思ってビクビ
No,
クす
see,
る。
no, come on. You're supposed to say yes. Of course. Because she's a girl. Yeah, see, just stab her again with the emotions. Shion laughed so hard that she had to hold her sides.
おいおい、そんなにおかしいことかよ。肩腹押さえて涙溜めるくらいに。
いえいえ、お姉ってしょうがないなって思ったんです。年頃の男の子と腕を組んで、心臓を高鳴らすこともできないなんて。
No, she... See, that's the thing. Come on, Keiichi. It's not that hard. You're hurting her because you're saying that it's impossible. You're basically building this bigger and bigger rift between Shion and Mion in the way you perceive them, despite the fact they're the same person.
本当に女の子失格ですよね。
No, she's not. I remember once again I'd heard someone say that before.
お姉は男の子に生まれた方が良かったんじゃないかなって思うことありますよ。
No, come on, step up, man. You're supposed to say no. Gosh darn it. It also sucks because frankly, genuinely frankly, when I was like still to this day obviously, but like I put myself in the shoes of like the characters and the ages and everything. Like another thing that's really weird, like I've heard people talk about how like the problem with like games and visual novels is that it's showing like romantic stuff involving younger, like people who are high school age. First of all, like again, yeah, that's the point. Everyone is the appropriate age. If for some reason watching a series or like getting emotionally connected to characters who are younger, like and getting involved in a story is like you're expecting that like oh yeah, like a 20-year-old 30-year-old is like a 60-year-old is implanting themselves in the story and imagining themselves dating these characters. It's like, yeah, that's creepy. Like that would be weird. But that's not the whole point. The point is that you're experiencing the story through the eyes of the character. Even if it's like a self-insert, you're self-inserting into a character that's appropriate for the situation. So I don't get why people think it's so weird. I don't know. Anyway, the point is here, like, if I were in this situation, but it was me, like actual me, like at that age, at that time, in that situation, I absolutely would have been more interested in Mion as a person. Even though she's more boyish, that's the thing. I think it's cool. She's like she's a fantastic character, has a good personality, and I just think it's fascinating. It's hilarious that for some reason, like this type of character. And I think in real life it actually happens too. They feel like a failure because they're not girly enough. But that's just media talking to them. Frankly, we need all types of people, both boys and girls. And I think that Shion, Mion, all of it, like fantastic person, beautiful, and I'd be like such a fun person to be around. What more could you want in a partner?
そしたら私も惚れてるかもな。なんちゃって。
ミオンも男の子に生まれたかったなんて言ってたな。
お姉は女の子がしたいのか男の子がしたいのか中途半端なんですよね。
So maybe there is a gender dysphoria thing for her specifically. I didn't think so, but that's sounding more like that.
まあ不吉祥な生き方のツケですからね。
No.
放っておいてあげてください。
さっきから実の姉に随分な言い方だな。
私ミオンのどことなく甘えたところ好きじゃないんです。
What are you talking about? The way that Shion talks somehow sounded cold.
シオンってミオンとあんまり仲良くないのか？
まあそこそこは仲良くやってます。でも姉妹として許せないなってところはいろいろありますよ。あれ見てください。可愛いと思いません
？I turned around to where Shion was pointing. That's where the familiar display window of a toy shop. The same shop was a stage for an incident that occurred during last Sunday's club activities. What Shion was pointing at was displayed with a plethora of adorable dolls that looked like the sort girls would like.
女の子ってどうしてこういうのが好きなのかな？
だって可愛いじゃないですか。ケイちゃんは可愛いって思いませんか？
俺は男だから特にそういうのは感じないよ。
まあまあ、ケイちゃんはこの中で一番可愛いのはどれだと思います？
Right click, sorry. Shion, pulling my arm, motioned toward the row of dolls. They were lined up like they were close sisters taking a commemorative photo. A few of them seemed strangely familiar.
こっち側に並んでる4つは見覚えがあるな。
やっぱり有名なんですね。ケイちゃんでも知ってるくらいだから。
Shion sounded impressed.
最近イギリスから入ってきたばかりの新作なんですよ。
Okay.
この辺ではまだ売ってますけど、都市部の方じゃ品切れ状態で安さがポイントのはずなのに変に高騰しちゃってるそうですよ。
It could be a mini investment.
女の子っていい年になってもこういうのが好きなんだな。
人にもよるでしょうけど、人形とかぬいぐるみとかを嫌いな女の子ってそんなにいないと思いますよ。あの男女のお姉ですら可愛いって言ってましたから。
へえ、ミオンも可愛いって言うのか。そりゃすごいことだな。
That's right. Fetch, I keep right clicking. That's right, I just remembered. The store owner gave one to us after Sunday's event. Oh yeah, and we immediately gave it to Rena, and she looked really disappointed. That's right. So it wasn't even just like, I thought it was that he was giving it to Rena, and like she was like feeling left out. Maybe that like she had that feeling for him, which is seemingly being confirmed. But it also was something that she secretly had been admiring. And she probably wanted to say like, hey, could I have that? But like, was that conflict because it was like, would go against like the persona that she builds up about her personality. And like, that people would be weird, think it's weird to make fun of her for it. Aw, that's sad. Except for Mion, who was a relative. Everyone had gotten something.
やっぱりあれが一番ですよね。ドレスのふわふわな感じが本当に。
それだ。この店のマスターに俺がもらったやつだ。
らしいですね。
Shion replied softly but clearly.
吉郎おじさんが日曜日のイベントを盛り上げてくれたお礼にって、お姉が連れてきた友達4人に配ったんだそうです。ドレスの人形はケイちゃんがもらったんですね。どうでしたか？とっても可愛かったでしょ？
As a man, there's no way I'd think it's cute.
じゃあその人形どうしちゃったんですか？
I don't know. I think guys could say things are cute. I think it's like, maybe it's embarrassing, maybe, but I don't know. Like, you can still look at something and be like, yeah, that's adorable. That's cute. That's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I know I am weird, but maybe I'm weird in the sense that there's no problem with a guy thinking something's cute. I've never thought that that's like some weird, like, it seems like an odd barrier to play. So like, you can't have an appreciation for things that are cute. Maybe it's odder if a guy prefers cute over other things. But again, that's not really a problem. It just might be unusual. But it's like, how do I explain it? Like, you can still appreciate the aspect of something even if it's not your preference. Like, I can recognize when a guy would be considered like handsome, even if I don't find anything attractive or drawing about somebody who looks like pleasing. I can recognize what a pleasing male figure looks like, so I can say, oh yeah, he's very handsome. Doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I got the hots for that. It's like, I can just appreciate that. Same with cute. So this weird idea that like you can't acknowledge something's cute because it makes you unmanly is ridiculous. Anyway, what do we do with the doll?
持っててもしょうがないからあげちゃったよ。
To who? As Shion laughed, I could hear the audible click run through my head like the piece of a jigsaw puzzle snapping into place. Oh, is that when he hurt So that's when he hurt Mion. Yeah, that art.
今日はみんな本当にありがとう。おかげでイベントは大盛り上がりだったよ。大したものじゃないけど、これ、今日のおだちんに。
あ、吉郎おじさん。私にはないの？おだちん。あらあらあら。かわいいのが出てきましたわよ。
When Satoko and Rika-chan opened their bag, there were cute little stuffed animals inside.
わあ、これかわいい。お持ち帰りしていいの？本当に？
ってことは俺のもかな。なんだかやたら可愛いのが出てきたぞ。
It was a stuffed toy wearing a beautiful dress, one you'd use to play house. Rena's eyes were glued to my stuffed doll. Satoko was the same, Rika-chan too. I see. It wasn't just Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan. There was one other person who seemed jealous. Yeah.
ケイちゃんには一番似合わないのが出てきちゃったね。
Not wanting for her expression to give it away, she had said something to hide her embarrassment.
なんつうのか、プリティっていうか、キュートっていうか、可愛いのは認めるんだが、着せ替え人形はちょっとな。
ケイちゃんが持ってたら、確実に明日からあれな趣味の人扱いだね。うん。
Mion's usual teasing way of talking. I looked around to see who I should give the doll to. Mion was right in front of me. Mion was the only one who hadn't received a present, so I thought about giving it to her, but I didn't. Oh, yeah, see, I thought that expression was sad, but like, fetch me. Whew. It's way harsher now, thinking about it.
くれるの？レナに？ありがとう。
Turning away from Mion's covetous gaze, I gave the doll to Rena. Mion's smile bore into my back. There was no way I couldn't have noticed. Why did I not give it to Mion? Since Mion was the only one who didn't get anything, wouldn't it have been just standard practice to give it to her? At that time, I had noticed that something was wrong. That's why I said it.
保身のためだよ。レナにあげないと夜道が怖い。
See, I kind of get it, because Mion does have this kind of tomboyish exterior. Like, it would seem odd to give it to her. Heck, she might have actually, like, rejected it if he tried to give it to her, because of that, you know, persona she feels that she has to, like, live up to. But she would have appreciated the act of giving it to her. Instead, he completely dismissed it immediately, even though, like, it was pretty apparent that it would make the most sense. He didn't even think about it for long. Well, like, from her position, she didn't even think he thought about it. And he did think about it, but he chose against it, which I don't know if that's even worse or not.
違いない違いない。
ミオンにあげようかと思ったけど、ちょっと違うよな。
Something dark flickered briefly in Mion's eyes, but at the time I didn't notice it. I thought I'd give it to Mion, why didn't I?
へへへへ、わかってるじゃない。私さ、どうして男に生まれなかったのかなって思う時あるよ。
Mion herself had said that with a laugh, so I didn't realize I'd hurt her. Aw, that's sad.
そうだな。 ミオンってかっこいい系の方が似合うやつだもんな。だからこの店の手伝いはシオンちゃんが来て正解だったと思うぜ。
Shion asked, probably thinking she misheard me.
その制服、ミオンなんかには絶対に似合わないと思うけど。
Crap, I didn't remember that, but that hurts.
シオンちゃんにはよく似合ってると思うしさ。
Gosh darn it, dude. I get it. I bet you I totally would make comments like that on accident. I'm sure I have and will.
それって、
Shion, like Rena often does, spaced out and turned bright red. Mion seemed really happy. She seemed happy I complimented Shion. Saying that I didn't suit Mion, but that it suited Shion, saying that it suited her, seemed to make her happy.
ミオンの双子の妹なんだよ。性格は違うけど、外見は瓜二つなんだ。
そうそう。外見は似てるけど中身は大違いなんだよ。私は優しくて思慮深いけど、シオンは冷めてておっかない性格なんだよね。
多分、生まれた時に、ミオンの女の子らしい部分は、全部シオンに行っちゃったんだと思う。
There's more stabbing into the soul.
ミオンと違って、実にはにかんだ笑顔の似合う、可愛い女の子なんだ。
I remember saying that was really harsh to say, but like it came off playful because the music was there and like the moment was kind of goofy. But man, you really put it in that context. It's like, oh jeez, what a freaking Mion made a strange face that was both angry and happy at the same time. It seems like she was happy that I said Shion was cute. Sneaking a look inside the box to say that just put some leftovers inside would have been a lie. That was an elegant meal stuffed inside.
本当にいいのか？これ、タバスコとかがいっぱい入ってるとか、そういう冗談じゃないのかよ。
もう、お姉じゃないんですから。私そんなことしませんよ。別に嫌なら無理しなくても。帰って自分で食べちゃいますから。
I'm not my sister. That was how she said it. Shion was insistent that she wasn't Mion. She was saying that she was Shion and that I shouldn't think of her as Mion. When Mion was Shion, it carried a special meaning.
みーちゃんって不思議でしょ？女の子なんだけど、男の子みたいっていうか。
That's what Rena said.
でもね、そんなみーちゃんも、本当はすっごく女の子らしいんだよ。
Because everyone's opposite.
レナ、お前、ミオンにいくらもらったんだよ。
違うの。もう、ちゃんとした話をしてるんだよ。
Rena began to pout. Now probably wasn't the time to joke around.
みーちゃんは部活の部長さんだから、みんなのリーダーとして頑張ってるけど、本当はとっても可愛い女の子なんだよ。
Agreed.
それ、特にケイチ君には忘れてほしくないな。
There never was a riddle to begin with. Rena was saying the answer right from the beginning.
それで、もう私、
Aww.
何が何だか。
うん。
ケイちゃんに悪気がなかったのは分かってる。分かってるつもり。
うん。ケイチ君は人を傷つけるような人じゃないよ。
Oh boy.
だから、みーちゃんが痛みを覚える必要なんか。
じゃあ、何なんだろうね。悔しいのか。それとも悲しいのか。全然わかんなくて。
欲しかった？あのお人形。レナがもらったのをあげても、何にも解決にならないもんね。
Yeah, because the doll, she kind of wants the doll, but it was more the ignoring, the dismissal. That was the problem.
そうだね。
じゃあみーちゃん、ケイチ君におねだりしてごらんよ。正面からぶつかってみた方が、結構解決できるかもしれないよ。
そんなの、できるわけないじゃない。
今さら、恥ずかしくてできない？
Yeah.
ミオンじゃない私で。もう一回やり直したい。そうしたら、今度はもっと素直になりたい。
Yeah. That's the birth of the Shion persona, is that she can approach him as a new person and present herself but the part of herself that she doesn't feel like people get to see. Oh, fetch me. I've said this a lot, but you have to remember, the whole reason I have this channel, like, it wasn't because I thought I was going to be, like, brilliantly successful. It's because there's parts of me, things that I like, that are just bursting to come out, that I want to share with people, I want to talk about, I wanted to give my thoughts about. And there was nobody in my life who really was that interested. I mean, people were nice enough, they'd hear me out and let me have a conversation, share things, but, you know, it was out of respect and support of me as an individual, not because they actually cared about what I was saying. And that sucks. It sucks to feel like that there's a big part of you that there's nobody around to really, like, share it with, right? And so when I started this channel, it wasn't just me making YouTube videos. It wasn't just me following in the footsteps of creators I liked and thought I could be like. Because that's the thing, is I didn't make content like anybody else did. I made content the way I wanted it to be. And even other people who make similar content don't do it the way I do it. I do it because it's what I want to do. Because it's a part of myself that I want to express. And it's as much a part of me as anything else I show. But I feel like I said before, I feel like I walk around with a mask on most of the time because I can't talk about the stuff I really like with most people. And even with the people who I'm most close with, a lot of times they don't share that same passion as me. So I made my own me. Blue is my Shion. It's the me I've put out there that expresses the inner thoughts that I feel like I can't talk about with other people in my life. Not because I can't talk to them about it, but because they wouldn't understand or they don't really have that draw. They don't share that passion. And so I reached out, and I'm here with people who really, really, really like this type of stuff. And I get to share that, and that means a lot. For me, it's like a healing and a good thing. For Mion, it's almost more like a proxy life. And unfortunately, it's been reinforcing the negative ideas that she has, that she can't be feminine, that she can't be loved, that she can't have like a normal like youth, that she can't enjoy the things that she likes because it doesn't fit who she is. So for her, it's a destructive exposition or experience. But it's so similar to what I do here on the channel, it's kind of terrifying.
ミオンとしてのケイちゃんとの関係はとても気に入ってるよ。わがままだと知ってるけど。もう一回。
きっと気づいてくれるよ、ケイチくん。
そうかな。
レナも応援するから、ミーちゃんの悲しみが軽くなる方法を探してみようよ。
Dang.
私を信じて、ミーちゃんを泣かせたりなんか、絶対にさせないから。
信じる。信じる。
Oh, man.
きっとケイチくんは、ミーちゃんのことも分かってくれるよ。それでね、無神経なことを言ってごめんねって言って、あのお店にミーちゃんを連れて行って、あのお人形をプレゼントしてくれるの。
Oh, you better do it.
うん。
Aw.
うん。
Oh, good peak voice work there. Being able to communicate emotion, especially without the words, is so cool. I wish I were good at that.
そうしたら、ミーちゃんもありがとうって言うんだよ。茶化しちゃダメだよ。素直に言うんだからね。
Aww.
欲しいなって言ったら、ケイちゃん、買ってくれます？
Mion said it quietly, doing her best to quell her embarrassment. I would have reflexively begun to lightly tease her to hide my embarrassment, but like Mion, I quelled that impulse.
いいよ、ミオン。今日までのお礼ってことで、どれでも買ってやるよ。
Oh. My voice cracked with unfamiliar words. In order to not lose Mion trying her best, I tried my best as well.
だから私、ミオンじゃなくてシオン。
じゃあ、シオンに買ってやるよ。
Shion looked down, red-faced. She pointed at the doll of the dress through the store window.
本当にいいんですか？あのドレスのだけはちょっぴり高いんですよ。
値段の問題じゃないだろう。
Aww.
気持ちの問題だよ。
Oh, bro, he's dropping bars.
私、今日はケイちゃんに嫌なお客さんから助けてもらえて本当に嬉しかったです。先輩たちもみんな助けてくれなかったのに、ケイちゃんだけは助けてくれました。私の肩をグイって引っ張ってくれましたよね。
Shoot, dude.
あの時、すごくかっこよかったです。
It was for a second, but you were cool.
なのに私、恥ずかしくって、ちゃんとしたお礼もできなくって。
I clamped my hand down on Shion's head and ruffled her hair roughly. Like how I would with Rena and the others. When I did that, Shion, like Rena would have, spaced out and blushed slightly.
そんな難しいのは抜きでいいよ。あの時あげてればよかったんだ。そうすればみんな楽しく笑ってられたんだ。
Shion didn't respond. She had turned bright red like she was trying to hold back both laughter and tears.
今買ってくれよ。そこで待ってろよ。
私も一緒に行きます。
Saying that, she grabbed onto my arm once again. She wasn't trying to be stoic anymore.
お姉がどうしてケイちゃんのことを好きなのか、私、よくわかった気がします。ねえ、ケイちゃんのこと、ちょっぴり好きになってもいいですか？
Sure, let's just have an aneurysm trying to keep all this straight. Sure. The unfamiliar situation made my head start to spin. Whoa, what am I doing? I had reached my limit. Smiling wryly to hide my embarrassment, I dragged Shion to the store with me.
すみません。表のショーウィンドウにあるドレスの人形が欲しいんですけど。
After a moment, I heard a voice of acknowledgement, and an apron-clad employee soon appeared. Wait.
ケイちゃん？
Wait, what? What? Wait, no, what?
それに、なんであんたがここにいるの？バイト中のお姉には関係ありません。
What? Wait, what? No! But, what? No, this can't be real, right? What? But, what?
私、ケイちゃんとデート中なんですから。なんでケイちゃん。
Even if you ask why, I'd like to know the answer myself. What is happening? Mion looked at me with an expression of confusion and surprise. But that was the same with me. If she was there, then who was next to me?
最初からそうだって言ってますよ。園崎シオンです。お姉の双子の妹ですよ。
She real?
ケイちゃんだって私のことをシオンって呼んでたじゃないですか。
Shion saying that pouted cutely.
どういうことなの？説明してよ、シオン。別にお姉がご就寝のケイちゃんってどんな人なのかなって思って。
What the fetch?
デザートフェスタのチケットを都合してあげたんです。そしたらケイちゃん、私が嫌なお客さんに絡まれているところに颯爽と現れて。
I'm losing my mind. This can't be real. What? The game said explicitly they weren't the same person. What's happening?
バッタバッタとなぎ倒して私を助けてくれて。
What? Both Mion and I raised our voices, pathetically expressing our confusion at the utmost.
ミオンが電話をくれたろ、昨日さ。
しないよ私。
What?
何のことか全然わかんない。
What?
私、ケイちゃんのためにお弁当を届けてあげたよね。あれは私だもんね。
What?
それともあれ、お姉だったの？
What?
園崎ミヨンともあろうお方が手作り弁当を作って男の子の家に海外しく届けに行ったと？
I'm losing my mind.
へえ、お姉って見かけによらず大胆。
A loud pop, a trail of smoke began to rise from Mion's head.
知らない。
What?
ほらね、ケイちゃん、お姉は知らないって。だから昨日までのは全部私、園崎シオンなの。
What?
私のふりをしたお姉かもしれないと思ってたかもしれないけど、これで疑いは晴れたでしょ？
What? I couldn't tell up from down at the moment. If there was a mirror around, I could have seen with my eyes grow wide from shock.
さあ、店員さん。表のショーケースの人形、包んでくださいね。大好きになった人からの初めてのプレゼントだから、ちゃんとリボン付きで梱包してほしいです。
Mion completely flustered was being cornered by sly-faced Shion. She is like Mion, but what? My brain has stopped working. I'm right there with you, bro. What the fetch is happening?
そんな、ケイちゃん。何がどうなって。
I don't know.
じゃあ行こう。ケイちゃん、もう暗くなってきたから、お家まで送ってあげるね。おねえ、悪いけど沖宮の家に電話して車を回すように言ってもらえる？自転車も積めるようにワゴンか何かで来てほしいって伝えてね。
In contrast to Shion, who had glee written all over her face, Mion was an empty shell that looked like she could burst into tears at any moment. Oh gosh. Okay, well, this changes things. Can we have two, please? Mion, here.
ケイちゃん。
After that, Mion's grumbling was unrelenting. What are you supposed to do with this? What the fed? So did all of that mean nothing? What is happening? It hasn't been long enough. So how does that get resolved? Do we make up with Mion? What? What is happening? It hasn't been a while.
だから初めましてじゃないですって。昨日まで毎日お会いしてたじゃないですか。
もういい。お前がそうだって言うならそういうことでいい。
Someone from Shion's house came to get me in a station wagon. I had initially refused, but Shion insisted, so both my bicycle and I ended up stuffed in the car. Said car was currently driving along a slightly bumpy road leading to Hinamizawa. For goodness sake, Shion was at Mion's level at least, or maybe even better actor. Either way, no matter what questions I pressed her with, she'd slip out of them like an eel.
しかし、そっくりだな。ミオンみたいに髪を後ろで結んだら、やっぱりミオンそっくりになるのか？
That is usually how twins work.
さあ、試せばそうなるんじゃないですか？私たち、筋金入りの一卵性ですから。昔は服を取り替えっこしただけで誰も見破れなかったものです。お姉と一緒に断るごとに入れ替わっていろいろと騙したりしましたっけ？
The middle-aged driver wearing a black suit heaved a heavy sigh like he was a butler.
なあにかさい、その深いため息は。
失礼しました。昔から変わられないなと思っただけですよ。
You could see many years of hardship on that man's face through the rearview mirror.
それより、ケイちゃんの家ってこっちでいいんですか？葛西は園崎本家の道以外はhinamizawa沢をよく知らないから任せておくと矢後内あたりまで走ってっちゃいますよ。
そりゃ困る。すみません。次の右に入る細い道のところで止めてください。そこまでで結構です。
He stopped the car at the desired place. The driver, Kasai-san, got my bike out of the trunk for me.
あ、どうもすみません。今日は送ってもらってありがとうございます。
ケイイチさんでしたか、お名前。
Wait, we gotta see. The remake? And the original. Yeah, that's not bad. Like the tie. Look at this dude.
あ、はい。
いろいろと災難はあると思いますが、そのうち飽きると思いますので、どうかそれまでご辛抱ください。
I keep right-clicking. I'm sorry. He gave me a deep, deep look of sympathy. This guy had definitely been dealing with the Sonozaki sisters since they were little kids.
ですが、ミオンさんと同じで、根は優しい方なんですよ。
それはつまり、ミオン並みに迷惑をかけるやつだということですか。
The man's face froze in a smile, his reply lost. Hey, back me up here.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。また会いましょうね。お姉にもよろしくお伝えください。
I don't know what to feel anymore.
私も明日からhinamizawa沢の学校に通おうかな。
Can you like make an appearance though so people know that I'm not crazy when I say that they actually are two different people?
絶対に来るな。シオンが転校してきたら、俺が沖宮の学校に転
That's
校する。
harsh.
それはすごくひどいことですよ、ケイちゃん。
At a short beep of the horn, the man gave a little wave to me from the driver's seat. Then the car withdrew into the night roads, leaving dust in its wake. Man, this entire day made no sense. I ran into Mion while I was with Shion, and the former expression, like a pigeon shot with a pellet gun, had finally begun to make a strong impression on me. Yeah, you better make this up to her, because, like, I think, unfortunately, because apparently they're actually two different people, now we've just made things a whole lot worse. Oh my gosh. That can't be real. What the This game just is designed from the ground up to make you question everything you think you know. How is that? That can't be real. That's so insane. God, this music is such a good fit for what just happened. Okay, we're ending here. It's a little bit of a shorter episode, but we're ending here. What was that? I was like pouring my heart and soul about all of this. But it was actually two different people? It feels like a rug pull. It feels like a... Oh gosh, what does that even mean for the Mion stuff? Like, she's still struggling, right? Like, she still has issues seeing with Kei-chan not seeing her, she's not seeing her as a girl. None of it got resolved because we didn't buy a doll and apologize to Mion. Because we bought a doll for the sister. Which I think she strategically brought us to that shop to do this to us. Meaning Shion's just as devious as Mion is, and might be even more so. Because while Mion likes to play with games, Shion plays with emotions. That's horrifying. Fetch me. Well, I feel like I wasted so much time in this episode because I was going so deep on, like, trying to understand Mion's point of view. And while I still think a lot of my points are valid, I'm not sure it will really make sense. And I feel like most of my insights are undercut by the fact that it turns out they're actually two people. That's just insane. That's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. Holy crap. It's also beautiful, but wow. What the fetch? What am I supposed to do about that? That's amazing. I'm sure you all are enjoying that lead up. Man, another thing I'm really grateful why I don't get spoiled, because the fact that that just happened. Can you imagine if I'd somehow found out about that beforehand? Like if someone had like slipped it in or like made a comment that like, you know, like kind of led me to that conclusion. That I got, at the very least, I'm sure this was entertaining to watch, so that's something. All right, well, let's move on from there eventually, I guess. With how ridiculous that all was and how like neatly wrapped up that seems to be, more or less, I imagine we're going to go into the Watanagashi ceremony now, like proper, and start going into the insanity, like the breakdown and the death soon. Because this feels like the peak of the slice of life content, so yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed it, even though I felt like my brain's melting and I can't trust what I see anymore. It doesn't help that I'm playing this and Chaos at the same time. I feel like I can't trust anything. Yeah, so guess we're just gonna move on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And until the next video, watching me, I've seen me next. I'll see you there.